You guys can't hear me. Now you can hear me. It's always scuffed. It's always scuffed when it's a Romeo production. Hello, guys. We got Anti here. I'm here. It's Dragoons versus True Minded Gaming. Flash. It's Ascendant League. We don't have the intro banner yet for Ascendant League, but we'll get it at some point. Everyone just hound Sems' DMs if you want one. How you doing, Anti?
I am doing quite well. I mean, it has been a solid 2 weeks off of this broadcast, which I gotta say actually does end up meaning that I've been exhausted the past few weeks. I do. Let me go ahead and adjust my camera real quick because my head's getting cut off a little. Anyway, all that being said, oh my god, this is gonna take forever to adjust properly. We'll figure it out. Either way, so all that being said, I left for 2 weeks. I came back, and True Minded Gaming Flash is coming into this a very, very strong team, right? I mean, if I remember correctly, I do believe they're coming into this undefeated. This might not quite be the correct team scores. If I remember correctly, on the power rankings, Dragoons was also ranked as 8th. So this is a very much a David and Goliath sort of, match here, where Dragoons on the back foot. We're gonna have to see whether they can play spoiler. It's still relatively early on into the season, but the play towards playoffs comes very, very soon.
Yeah, of course, we're getting to the halfway, almost second half of the season point. You are right. True Minded Gaming Flash is 3-0 right now. We're gonna see if we can get that fixed real quick.
Oop. That was for Dragoons. Either way, so we are going to see if we can get that fixed real quick, but in the meantime, we just got to talk about these teams, and also we got to talk about the things that are really important going into this, right? And my answer has always been comfort picks, comfort picks, comfort picks. I don't care what the meta is. I care whether or not you can deny the enemy team their comfort picks. And what I do care about is the fact that we're not seeing Seraphine Ashe every single set. So right now, Seraphine's locked in. This opens up so much for you. The Mel immediately slammed. I don't hate this, but I don't love it. I would much rather see a Braum or a Milio for the early pick, because the thing about Mel is that she is such a good champion if the backline divers are taken off the table. That's why she's had so much prevalence in a lot of these fearless draft games. But Mel and Jarvan work really well together. If people can't run away from any of Mel's abilities, she constantly gets to stack up all of those passive stacks, and she manages to find ways how to just reflect that encore, just make sure that she stays safe. In the meantime, Seraphine Senna, a combo I enjoy much more than the Seraphine Ashe. I do actually think that this has a lot going for it.
Yeah, I think Senna Seraphine is such a broken bot lane. We are going to see that Mel Bard. I know Bard is like a wicked good support in this elo, and I mean kind of in all elos. Correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Bard just take like a very small nerf or something like that really recently?
Whether or not Bard has been nerfed is a lot less important than whether or not, and then what Bard can do on the map, right? And what Bard can do is punish people for being in lanes that really, really want to stick together. Senna gets extremely, extremely punished heavily when she has to stay alone by herself, especially with the way how soul spawning currently works, where, you know, if you crunch the numbers and you are playing into a scaler, it is technically more... It can be argued that it is more effective to forego the caster minions and give them over to your support instead. So that way you can increase that soul generation. If you don't have the people near you, that soul generation drops off like a brick, and all of a sudden, you know, you lose a lot of the power that the Senna does get. Bard, on the other hand, make sure that Seraphine being trapped in that lane does end up suffering. So we're going to have to see what it turns into. We are most certainly getting that Mel bot lane. So now my biggest question is, how are we rounding out the top side? Aatrox taken on the side of the Dragoons for that blind pick, and I expect to see something really easy to play. You know, let's say a Renekton, for example, into that Aatrox. A Jace, also, you know, very solid pick, but we are lacking a little bit of beefiness for TMG Flash.
Yeah, there's not really much of a front line coming out of Flash. I mean, of course, you do have that Jarvan, but you can't even really call this a double bruiser comp, right? It is, Jarvan is your front line, and if Jarvan falls, you better hope the entire enemy team has died at that point. Otherwise, you're just not really getting any survivability out of it, right? It's like, I mean, you take the Jace to stomp lane, and it's a good R5 in isolation, but into this team comp, you are praying to God you can outpoke them, because the moment they get on top of your team, it's over. It's really over. You have to play this poke comp very, very well, and I think it's super hard to do into a pick like a Wukong, or even into a pick like a Seraphine, where if that Encore touches any of you, it's difficult. If Wukong finds a flank angle, their team's able to just kind of walk in and stomp on you, and a lot of times poke comps survive in extended games, especially when they can get to a team fight and extend it. But this entire game, we have such a hard scaling comp that will one-shot you if we start getting to the 30-35 minute mark. That's going to be really, really difficult for TMG to play around if this game does go that long. But it is, of course, the #1 undefeated team right now, so it's not necessarily the easiest thing to pull out a 30-35 minute game against a team that's really good at closing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my biggest question here is that Zoe in the mid lane, right? Pumpkin needs to be playing the Zoe extremely, extremely well, because Zoe is one of those champions that I'm pretty much always going to be a little bit concerned about, right? This champion, so unbelievably strong in the right hands, but no matter how good of a champion you are, no matter how well you can pilot this champion, Zoe is a hammer, right? Now, what that means is that if you are ahead and your team needs something to just break through the enemy defenses, make their life a living hell, etc., you have a hammer, right? You have Zoe. Meanwhile, if your team's behind and your team needs something in order to perform open heart surgery, in order to defuse the bomb, you know, make sure to find a way to bring your team back to life, you have a hammer. And it's going to be very, very difficult for Pumpkin to actually get anything done if you do fall behind. So it's imperative that this mid lane does not fall behind.
Yeah, you really, really don't want Zoe to fall behind. It isn't any needs. But right now, a big fight happening in the bot lane. Lian going to be chunked down to the last quarter of her health bar already. Of course, Senna, extremely weak as well. Going to be down to about a third. The support's, though, looking pretty good coming out of that trade.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, my big question, though, is whether or not these solo lanes can really come into play, because we already know the duo lane is going to be extremely, extremely bloody, just trades back and forth and back and forth. But these solo lanes, on the other hand, it's so unbelievably volatile. A single kill could make things so unbelievably terrifying for the rest of the laning phase. I mean, top lane especially is one of those lanes where I like to say you die once, you die the rest of the game, but level 2 already picked up.
Immediately, a first blood going to go over to Dragoons, and that's huge if you're Dragoons. You're coming into this as the underdog, and you find an early first blood off the back of a Senna Seraphine lane. Of course, that lane already is scaling, but like, they got the poke out, they got the early engages, and then a high note's going to go flying through on the stun, and they find it. Of course, it does go over to Seraphine. You probably would have preferred on the Senna, but a first blood's a first blood at the end of the day.
Yeah, first blood is a first blood. I also really do love the fact that you could see Xingsul, they just walked up. They're very, very aggressive with their positioning the moment they're hitting level 2, and this might be at, you know, the higher levels of play, but we're still seeing these teams find ways to disrespect that level 2 power spike, right? Senna and Seraphine are two champions that you don't necessarily expect to have the same kind of level 2 power spike as, let's say, a Leona Tristana.
Oh,
but
the Ignite's gone through. The Drowsy
unbelievably strong.
Going to miss. Can they find the last hit? They're not going to be able to just there. But they do chunk Syndra down to that last little bit of HP. Had that hit, if the Drowsy hits there, Best is down for sure. They burn the Flash. Flash is going to be down for until 8 minutes. There could be an angle for Jarvan to come mid and help Pumpkin get a Seller to lead there. Big fight coming out in his bot lane as well.
We're seeing Jarvan hovering.
Jarvan going to be coming a little bit late. Ubi's down. He's ignited. There, they found the stun. That might be bait. Ubi's going to see not important going around the side. Can they find the flag? Xingsul going to be able to find Fun Phoenix on the side, though. That's going to be the second kill over to the Seraphine. The Solar Eclipse going to miss. And it's just... Or the Solar Snare going to miss, rather. And it's just... It's not looking great at the moment for our undefeated guys.
Yeah, I mean... TMG Flash, they might be undefeated going into this, but remember, the more games you win, the more series you win, the more the pressure mounts, and we can see that pressure start to mount up right here. And how are they going to deal with it? Dragoons to up 2-0, both of these kills going on to Xingsul, and this Seraphine could do so much work here. We're already seeing these reflects come into play from Lien, but it doesn't really do much unless the Encore's on deck.
Yeah, oh, there's going to be the Drowsy, though. Pumpkin going to get knocked away. Best able to dodge it, but Bard surely on top is going to be able to finish the job. There it is. Fun Phoenix almost let them get away, but not in time. It was one auto was the difference between life or death there for Best, and ultimately Best going to go down. It's another support kill. This game, 3 support kills off the bat.
Yeah, might be 3 support kills, but we're just going to have to see when, like, who actually gets the first non-support kill, right? That's my biggest question. Because these support kills obviously do a lot for the state of the map when the roaming comes into play, especially when you have Bard on hand here. But Rainy in a good position here.
Yeah, going to take a look here, but it doesn't look like they're going to find anything just yet. There's going to be the Reflect, though, at Xingsul's in the bot lane. Not a ton going to come of that either. It's still looking for a dive on that Aatrox. I don't think they're going to be able to find anything. I think they're just wasting time.
Yeah, might be wasting a little bit of time, but at the very least, you're still managing to get more stacks. You're still managing to get more gold. I mean, this Senna is feeling very, very happy with all of this stacking. Look at that damage.
Oh, and Lian going to be chunked super hard under the turret. There's going to be, once again, the Solar Snare. Not going to find anything. But yeah, you were just... I mean, there's a reason Senna Seraphine is like, you don't let them pick that. Oh, the Drowsy going to come through. It's going to do a ton of poke and not important. Going to be able to get that last auto attack. Zen a little bit too late there. I mean, what's the Wukong going to do without Cyclone though, at the end of the day? That was just very well played from not important Pumpkin, who are just doing a great job with this jungle mid synergy.
Yeah, jungle mid synergy is definitely one way to put it, but I gotta say that mid lane camp is looking rough for the Dragoons. I mean, can you imagine being a Syndra sitting there going, all right, you know what? This is just gonna be a poke lane. I'm gonna be able to survive. I'm taking the first strike and nothing too crazy is going on here. And all of a sudden, everyone and the kitchen sink is showing up in my lane.
What, you don't like everyone in the kitchen sink showing up in your lane? I mean, it means they're not in other lanes at least, right? Right?
I mean, it must feel good to be desired, I guess.
That might be the saddest thing ever said on a Titan stream.
Hey, I just came back from a date, okay?
Okay.
I miss my wife.
Did it go well? Did the date go well? Please tell me it's the answer.
Well,
is
yeah,
yes.
no, we just got
Hell
like,
yeah!
we just got like coffee or whatever. Nothing crazy.
Yo, why talk about the game when we can talk about the coffee date? Like I'm instantly interested.
What? What do you mean? It's just we go on a date once a month. Like it's just a thing. Anyway,
Speaking of which, here's a date coming out in the mid lane. It's Wukong who has a date with Jarvan. The Cataclysm going to be able to land, but it's not going to be enough as the Unleashed power goes through, and it's a kill for Syndra. But Pumpkin does run the return kill on Zen. It's a 1-for-1 trade at the end of the day. One goes over to Syndra. One goes over to Zoe. Oh, Dawning Shadow going to keep Aatrox alive?
yeah, the flash has to come out from Rainy to try to get away from that, even with that Dawning Shadow. I'm not sure if Aatrox could actually manage to win that, but it was definitely terrifying enough that Rainy said, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not throwing away, the possibility of gaining a consistent lead onto this Aatrox, but at the very least, this Aatrox managing to not only survive, but thrive after shoving this wave in.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for this Aatrox, especially in a lane that's supposed to be a hard counter matchup. He's going to have those plated steel caps now, building a lot of health. I don't think he's going to be able to do a lot in the terms of, like, getting a kill anytime soon, but I don't think that's your goal with Aatrox in this lane. At the end of the day, with Aatrox into a Jace lane, if you can survive until you're strong enough to get that first item and get that Eclipse, you can then start trying to take the fight to Jace. You're surviving this early game very, very well. You're even in CS, actually catching this wave. You're going to be up in CS. Jace hasn't really been able to get to do anything. And it just makes this later game so much easier for you. And now you can kind of feel safe, right? Like, with those plated steel caps, the junglers are going to be passing towards the bot side. You should just be having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, one thing also to note here, right, is that with that Storm Raiders on the Jace, it's going to be very difficult for Aatrox to actually catch up. So we're not going to be seeing the Eclipse. We are just going to be seeing the Sundered Sky as the immediate rush there, because this Aatrox just wants to be a meat shield for as long as possible. And remember, for the Dragoons, the thing that they need to be...
Big stun. There's going to be the Solar Eclipse. Not going to land fully. There's Bard just making everyone go golden and chill, and now going to use that gateway to get Lien out of harm's way. Shinxel was so close to going down. The flash through the solar snare. Lien gonna be able to get out. Just barely. It was a good attempt there from Ubi's, but now you burn the summoner spell. At the end of the day, kind of a TMGF favored play. Oh, the drowsy lands, but it only hits the clone. Zen going to be in the bush. Zen does have Cyclone available. Okay, could turn something if they want. There's going to be the stun from Senna. Cyclone only hits one. Lien going to be able to find the kill on Zen, who goes too deep without his teammates. Drowsy going to miss. Pumpkin still trying to find something, but it's just a swing and a miss.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Zen there. It's just had greatness in his eyes, but wasn't quite able to capitalize on that. Just so much damage taken from this bot lane. I mean, Wukong just has so little magic resist inherently, and you can see that really come into play there. In the meantime, top lane still going to be a matter of the slow CS lead being built up by this Aatrox. In the meantime, we're seeing Best continue to farm up as much gold as possible on the Syndra. Might be down as far as the kills are concerned, but far from worthless.
Yeah, very, very far from worthless. Right now, there is... Honestly, for Ascendant, there's quite a bit of kills onto the map, but no objectives as well. We're 10 minutes deep, no Dragon taken, no Void Grubs taken. There hasn't been really any priority on these objectives. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, right now, the biggest question, right, isn't just whether or not there's going to be priority on these objectives. The biggest question is, why is that? And you can see that there's just constant fighting in these side lanes. Top lane ends up being very difficult to actually lock down the Jace if you are on the side of their Dragoons. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's very rare that this Aatrox actually stays in lane long enough at a low enough health to consider the Jace to have a true amount of control over this wave state, right? Meanwhile, bot lane is just fighting after fighting after fighting. Like, there's a reason why a majority of the kills have been bot lane involved. I mean, even the ones that don't have the bot laners on the number itself, it's still happening right in front of their faces. Every time that someone tries to breathe on this dragon, someone else comes in and says, no, this one's ours. don't look at that.
This one's ours. Don't look at that. I like that. I think I'm gonna start screaming that line in solo queue every time somebody goes for a dragon. I like that a lot. I think that's really funny. But the Mountain Drake is started up here. Jarvan trying to get the first one. Meanwhile, on the other side, Void Grubs. It's the cross-map play we're getting right now. Finally, 12 minutes of the game. We're going to get not one, but two objectives back-to-back. Who do you think benefits the most from this trade? Oh, wait a minute. Temper Fate going to come through.
Oh, boy.
Shinxel going to be stunned up for days. Good night as Lien going to find Shinxel.
So, on one hand, you see Pumpkin and Besant just continuing to try to find ways how to actually change up this mid lane fight. And here comes the kill. Nothing too crazy there. But anyway, as we were saying, it's a matter of the trade between Void Grubs and
Cataclysm
the
under the
Actually, we're going
turret.
straight in.
Flag and drag out. There is going to be the Golden Eclipse. And Lien finds their third kill of the match. And just like that, True-Minded Gaming Flash are showing why they are, at the moment, the dominant champions of Ascendant. At the moment, just 3-0 and trying to make it 4-0 this game. Showing why the underdogs stay down.
Yeah, in the meantime, Rainy and Aatrox still just trying again and again to make it clear who's the one coming out on top here. That's a 30 CS diff for this Aatrox. I mean, Rainy's struggling a bit as far as the CS goes, but as far as the overall control of the lane goes, it's been pretty heavily Jace favored, I would argue.
Yeah, I would agree with you that Jace, Jace has been on the push, right? However, Jace only has one plate. The World Ender is procced here. That's going to be the second Dark Blade hit. Can they find the third? That's going to do the most of their damage. They are getting collapsed on, though. 3 ways to Sunday. They do Flash to try to get out. The Drowsy isn't available at the moment. I think Aatrox is out, but they burn Flash for nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, not quite going to be able to do it. Just if the game goes on long enough, right, and you're a top laner, it's a higher and higher chance that your enemy laner is slowly going to lose their minds and just try to force something to happen. But in the meantime, no Reflect available. Encore going through, but not going to be able to turn that into a kill. And there we go.
Lien
teleport coming down as well.
Lien goes down. Shinxel going to find the kill here. And now Seraphine goes down as well to Rainy on the TP. And Jace going to find his first kill.
Yeah, Rainy finally going to be able to get that gold injection that he has been waiting for. I mean, this Aatrox has been doing such a good job at keeping this Jace from actually being relevant that flank TP was so instrumental here. The question is that going to turn into much more than that? There's full-on teleports being committed here.
Yeah, a lot of TPs gathering. Of course, no objective up at the moment here. So, I think that there might be... Okay, I thought Shinxel might have gotten picked there. I thought there was an inch... Like, I could feel Shinxel's life flashing before her eyes.
Yeah, I mean, we can see that Shinxel right now just hang around this top side, trying to follow around Fun Phoenix, but, supportal combat's not the focus.
No, and here, there's going to be the Dawning Shadow. Good night to Lien. It's a big kill going over to Zen.
Yeah, big kill. Lots of gold injected into this Wukong. Sunder Sky not picked up for this Wukong. Instead, he is going to be that Triforce. Gives Wukong every single thing that he could be asking for. Zen, on the other hand, just going to dash on forward. Not going to be stunned up by that Bard Q, but in the meantime, still more and more gold for this Syndra.
Yeah, a lot of gold coming through for that Syndra. And now the Rift Herald started. Big fight going to happen here as there's going to be the Flag and Drag Temper Fate going to find 4 of them. And now it's just a big ball of nothing. Lots of damage going to come through here. And it's just good night to a lot of True-Minded Gaming. Can Syndra finish it off? So close. The Solar Snare not going to be able to land just yet. And Fun Phoenix showing up a little bit later in that fight. Aatrox going to be able to run away. Nobody going to claim that Rift Herald just yet.
Yeah, nobody going to claim the Rift Herald. Nobody able to do so. But we saw how close True-Minded Gaming Flash got to death there. It's just coin flip after coin flip, but it's all coming up TMG. And in the end, Lien on this Mel pick is not getting punished as much as I'm sure the Dragoons would have hoped to have been able to do. Once again, the big thing that I love about Mel in Fearless Draft is how much stronger she gets the later it goes into a series, because all of the backline divers are taken off the table. But when Mel isn't, when the backline divers are still on the table, Mel's not usually a champion that I expect to see much success in the early picks. Teleport going to be committed for this dragon, though.
Yeah, the TP is coming through as it looks like everyone's gathering around that Cloud Drake pit. What are we going to find here? Aatrox's going to be the first to walk in. Zen trying to find an angle. Shinxel already chunked to half. The Solar Snare not going to land on anyone. Fun Phoenix getting a lot of damage on Zen. There's going to be a huge poke from Zoe, dragging down to 2,500 here. Asleep. Aatrox going to take a lot of damage. There's going to be the Solar Snare as well. Dawning Shadow keeps him alive, but now he's going to go to sleep. Sent to the gray screen. Cataclysm into the backline. Shinxel going to be a little bit caught here. Meanwhile, Zen finds Fun Phoenix, but he's going to go down himself. Not important, going to go down as well. It is 2 left on the side of Dragoons. 3 left for True Minded Gaming, but Lien's very chunked. This is still playable for Dragoons if they want to. They just don't have much of a front line to go into it, and at that point, it looks like we're just going to get resets and to run it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too terrifying to actually commit to the full dragon take after that one. It was so close back and forth, but we're going to have to see whether or not we actually see the dragons come into play, or if it's still just going to be a bloodbath back and forth every time.
Yeah, the bloodbath seems to kind of be the name of the game in this one, right? People are dying left, right, and center at all stages of this game. We are 22 kills in right now. 22. That's a lot of kills deep right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 22 kills, but in the meantime, we're just seeing more posturing around this dragon. It's the second drag, y'all. You don't have to be this terrified. And it's
Cloud Drake. Oh my god, Ubiz gonna lose half their HP, but they are gonna be able to claim that Cloud Drake right off the back. The fight gonna come out now. Not important. Gonna be fighting, but there goes the sleep onto Aatrox. He does finish the job, but not important though. Now diving the back like Lien, gonna get completely caught. Gets the golden eclipse off, but it doesn't kill anybody. And now Jace gonna be caught as well. And just like that, it is gonna be True Minded Gaming who finds himself a little bit down. Pumpkin gonna be able to get one return kill on Sin off that auto attack. It's still not enough. Tempered Fate gonna miss. You pull one back, you lose Dragon. 3 kills get away from you. And this one's a lot closer than Fun Phoenix thought.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing right now Dragoons still managing to
Fun
run
Phoenix,
away with this lead.
Magical Journey. The Pengu is going to be following after him. Is able with that upgraded Chemtech Blast Plant to get safely under tower. And it is Chemtech Soul this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chemtech Soul is going to be able to do so much work for these teams, especially a team with Aatrox, a team with Senna, Seraphine. Like, good luck finding a way how to break through those heals, break through those shields, especially when you don't have an AD carry. You don't have something like a Sivir that can justify going with a Serpent's Fang, right? There's just going to be so many heals, so many shields, and I've said time and time again that Senna Seraphine is very, very good, but more than that, I've said that Mel loves it when a team fight lasts as long as possible. Now, this is not quite the way how I think this Mel wanted it to happen, right? As Lien doesn't really enjoy the idea of having to face a team that constantly heals up over and over again when your team doesn't have that same sort of deal, right? TMG Flash have a phenomenal team composition if they're there at the objective first. If you're there 20 seconds early, good luck dealing with all of this poke. If you're there late, good luck setting up into the Dragoons. In the meantime, we have that World Ender committed, but it's not going to turn into much, as the continued infinite scaling team is very, very much in good hands, especially after that Drake.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any easier for them, right? Like, you got that Drake, you're going to deny them getting Soul for another 5 minutes. Not that they're coming any close to it, right? Like, the early game team right now got 1 Dragon in 21 minutes. I don't think we're going to see a Soul this game at all, and if we do, Jesus, we're in for a doozy. This game doesn't get easier, though. Senna is stacking on repeat, right? Senna is currently sitting at 59 stacks at the moment. That's actually less than I thought, but I don't know. Well, how many stacks do you expect to Senna at 20 minutes into the game?
At 20 minutes, it really depends, right? This has been a relatively bloody game, so I'd expect to see hopefully around 60-ish.
Yeah.
But from what I do know, right, is that Obis, as you can see, very much has been farming, right? Has not been opting to give all of these minions over to Shinxel. Has been pushed out of lane again and again and again, right? Dove at some points and at others just in a position where you just can't really do much. You can't get to that wave. You can't get to these souls. So it's relatively low stack count on this Senna, but still finding more ways how to get gold, how to get relevant, how to control as much of this game state as possible.
Yeah. Oh, the tempered fake gonna land. I think it's going to be rough. Ubis, forced to flash out of that, is going to keep himself alive. But you do burn that flash. Dragon up in a minute. Going to make this dragon fight really hard. And if it's a 5v5 on this dragon, one team gets aced or something like that, we're going to see a Baron rip as well. This is going to be a huge fight for determining this game. If either sides take this cleanly without losing too many of their members, that could be game winning.
Oh, it definitely could be game winning, but once again, we're seeing the power of TMG Flash's team composition, right? If you can walk into an objective and set up 20 seconds early, you are almost unstoppable with this much poke. But if you're not there first, good luck. So, Dragoons, we saw them win when they got there first. TMG Flash, we saw them win when they got there first. Now the question is, who gets to the Baron first? Who pulls that trigger? Who has the ability to really make it terrifying? I don't think that there's nearly enough DPS on either of these teams to actually warrant a Baron sneak. So that's not really where we're gonna be seeing a lot of this concentration. I think all of these fights are going to be around this dragon, which is spawning in 10 seconds. Teleports are available for both sides when it comes to the top lane, but remember, Pumpkin lacks a teleport whatsoever.
Syndra, by the way, also sitting at 111 stacks at the moment. That execute is available, has been available for a little bit of time now. This dragon
first.
Gonna be started here. Oh, this is anyone's moment here. The Flagon Dragon would take Jarvan out of the pit. The Asleep goes on to Best. Rainy getting a lot of poke damage. There's going to be a double charm. Aatrox right in their face. Rainy going to be able to sneak out Shinxel, but Shinxel loaded all the work they needed. There's going to be the Flagon Drag back onto Ubis. Ubis trying to get the peel, not able to. Is Rainy going to capitalize? Both these top laners are controlling this fight. Meanwhile, the Dragon still being taken by Best. Best getting jumped on by Zoe. However, they go down and they get the Chemtech trick. It's huge!
It's so massive, as we can see that Dragoons, once again, Romeo, how many times do I have to say it? Get there first, win the fight, right? Dragoons, they get there first. They commit the teleports. They find a way how to set everything up perfectly, and it works out beautifully. Aatrox right into that backline. It doesn't even matter that the sleep goes on to Ubis. It doesn't even matter that you have the two-man tempered fate, because in the end, if you have to play a backline diving team fight when you have a poke comp, you're not going to win that. Best Sin manages to survive all the way to the end, and despite TMG Flash's best efforts, Dragoons gets to the pit first, gets a hold of that Chemtech Drake, and this becomes more terrifying the longer the game goes. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Good luck taking out Senna Seraphine with a Chemtech Soul. Romeo, I think the audio's dead. I can't hear any of the audio on the stream. Oh. There we go. Maybe.
Huh. It was just mine for some reason. Hi, guys.
All right, hello. Anyway, so we're gonna have to see what this does turn into. As you were saying, Dragoons in a very good position here.
There's gonna be the encore, and the encore only hits Lien. It only hits Lien. That's winning. That's winning. Shinxel being the absolute GOAT. However, Rainy's on this back flank. He's getting turned on. The Drowsy's going to hit. Ubis trying to keep Sen alive. He's going to be able to keep them alive. And now Rainy caught, half-hand cocked in the back line. And he's going to get annihilated. Tries to take down Ubis, but he can't do it. And the turn is to Baron. They're going to run straight to it. What a fight. What an encore.
Yeah, what a beautiful fight. I just... Genuinely, like, how in the world did you manage to pull that off again and again and again? As we can see, Shinxel, and not just Shinxel, but Shinxel managing to land that encore onto Lien was so instrumental. Here, once again, at the Baron first, what does this turn into? Is this the steal?
It's still claimed! It's still claimed. The Tempered Fate wasn't enough! And now, they're able to just turn this. They get everything they want. That's going to be 1.5 thousand extra gold into their pocket. They have that Baron. It's monumental right now for Dragoons.
Yeah, absolutely insane for Dragoons here. They're going to be the ones to take a game number 1 at this rate. And I gotta say, after looking at those content pieces that said, hey, Dragoons are probably going into this 8th place, right? I mean, they're definitely the weaker members of this power ranking. I think that lit a fire under their butts here. They're playing so well. They understand their win condition. They're getting to these objectives first. They're getting their top laner slammed, but what can they get in response?
Oh, well, they are going to get the Aatrox. Dragon, though, going to go over to them. It's going to be that soul point Dragon. We could see a soul this game at this rate. And then they still have that Baron to play off of. Aatrox is going to spawn in 48 seconds. It's going to take a lot out of their Baron push because it is a 4v5, but they will be able to play in those Baron waves. I think it's a good look for them.
Yeah, it definitely could be a good look for them here. And the question is, are you going to overstay? That's one recall going through at the very least for the side of the Dragoons. You have the Baron buff available still on 4 members. That is a long time dead for your Aatrox there. But in the end, that is a gold lead. That is a kill lead. That is a control lead for the side of the Dragoons. Romeo, we didn't exactly do any series predictions ahead of time, but I don't think either of us anticipated this to go quite like this.
Let's be real. We all would have said 2-0. We all would have said 2-0 True-Minded Gaming. Maybe 2-1. The encore's going to hit, not important here, though. It's a Youch Kabibbles moment. Is Jarvan going to fall? Fun Phoenix and have to go on a magical journey to get out of there. Solar Snare going to miss again. Lien's not able to find anything. Lien's been level 14 for the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Zen going to end up getting drowsied up, but I said it before, right? Zoe is a hammer. If you have the lead and you have the ability to actually, go ahead and screw things up for the enemy team, you've got a hammer. But right now, you have open heart surgery on the table. What is your answer, Pumpkin?
Oh, there's going to be another Drowsy. They're attempting to find anything they can. There's just not a lot coming out. It's so hard right now when you have the Baron minions. They don't find the inhib. I don't know that's necessarily a bad thing, though. You still have 3 minutes on objective. If you can just knock down turrets and keep the scaling, it goes very, very hard.
Yeah, and... Okay, I gotta say it, right? Shinxel is a player after my own heart. The fact that they built Dawncore on the Seraphine with that Chemtech Soul available soon enough is just so good here. Because, that Dawncore, one of those things that I think is a relatively underrated support item, just does so much work in a team composition like this, right? It says, hey, you know what? We're just going to essentially get a death cap for the healing and shielding. And it's just so good when your only job is to make sure Lien doesn't get a chance to play the game and your team continues to get a chance to play the game. Shinxel constantly outputting those heals, constantly outputting those shields, constantly outputting just lockdown for, maybe one or two people, but it's always important people to lock down. I could sing their praises over and over again, but Shinxel has honestly been playing this game extremely well. These solo encores are not usually what you'd expect to be seeing praised in these games, but every single one of them has been on an important member at an important time.
Yeah, right now, let me ask you, what do you think needs to be done right now for T? Oh, the healing. The healing's ridiculous, actually. The healing's ridiculous. The healing is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What do they need to do to come back in this? Oh, Cyclone. Encore going to go through. Dawning Shadow going to miss, but it doesn't matter. Pumpkin just goes down. Can they pull back Zen? There's going to be the Golden Eclipse. Tempered Fate onto two of them, but it doesn't matter. His best sin is on the other side. Wukong going to find himself a triple kill, and now he's chasing. He's chasing for that Penta. The GA going to be procced here. This might be it. This might be game.
Romeo, you asked me what it is that TMG Flash need to do. The answer is give up. Go to game number 2 because the Dragoons now with 5 members strong running down this mid lane going to surely take game number 1. Who cares about the soul when you can simply take the Nexus? Rainy, the only one standing in the way, not going to be able to stop this squad from potentially playing spoiler against one of the strongest teams we've seen so far in the league.
Yeah, I can't believe what we just watched. These guys have not lost a series, and now they're against the ropes going to this game too. The underdogs, literally, we took messages from everyone, and nobody thought this was even going to be close. Not even Dragoons thought this was going to be close. All of them were like, we're just going to play our best and see what happens. Well, their best, for once, was good enough. This could be the start of a playoff, comeback for Dragoons. They just took a game off the best team in Ascendant statistically.
Yeah, but the stats don't tell the whole story. What we know is this was a team effort, right? Beautiful drafting from the side of the Dragoons, and more importantly, they understood the win conditions of not only themselves, but that of their opponents. As long as you got to the objective first, you had an avenue to win, and the Dragoons always were there first. I've said it time and time again, you have to get to these objectives first when you're playing against a team that sets up this poke composition that we saw from TMG Flash. But TMG Flash were never there first. They're playing too cocky. They're saying, we can get this poke in anyway. But the moment they get there, Dragon's halfway gone, and the superior positioning goes over to the Dragoons that are already inside the pit. Sometimes when you have a team sitting inside a pit and you have a poke composition, you might think, oh, well, they're just a bunch of fish in a barrel. It should be easy enough for us to get our damage. But it's not going to be easy for you to get your damage when all 5 of your shooters are not together. In the end, Dragoons, they play to their win condition, they play to deny their opponent's win condition, and they play to deny their opponent's perfect season. Game number 1 already under our belts. Don't go anywhere because game number 2 is bound to be just as interesting.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back as we get ready for Game 2. Of course, it's True Amount of Gaming Flash versus Dragoons. And Dragoons, despite being the bottom of the table, have taken a game off our current top of Ascendant. They were 3-0, and now they're at risk of being 2-0'd by the 7th place team.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, they didn't just take a game, they took that game convincingly, right? They understood what their picks did. They understood what their opponents' picks did. They understood their win conditions and their opponents' win conditions, and they found ways to achieve their own while continuously denying those of their opponents. At this point, it's not a matter of just, haha, hands diff or anything along those lines. This is a strategical masterclass coming in from the Dragoons, and game number 1 being in their favor is exactly where we see that come into fruition. But now, game number 2, there is going to be no Seraphine first pick available. There is no Seraphine Ashe. Thank God teams have stopped picking Seraphine Ashe. I have been screaming about this for ages. I mean, Romeo, you've only seen a small smidgen of me crashing out about Seraphine Ashe. Thankfully, that's neither here nor there. Jarvan's already off the table, so it makes this Rumble pick much less strong. I am a little bit worried that it is going to be the, full-on roll order rather than the pick order here. Okay, that is absolutely not roll order. Never mind. Unless Zen has a crazy Sivir jungle really picked up for us.
Dude, Sivir jungle would go so hard. I would love a Sivir jungle. I've been rocking the Zeri jungle, and that is...
Zeri jungle's very different.
Hey, Sivir can run fast. She can ricochet through camps. Like, that seems kind of okay. Yunara and Lulu gonna be the answer, though, to Sivir here. We're gonna have the most boring bot lane in this game, and I think somehow that favors Dragoons. Deep down in my gut, it's telling me that favors Dragoons.
Yeah, I mean, I am inclined to believe, and in the meantime, it is going to be the Xin Zhao jungle going to be picked up here. So, things that we have to keep in mind, right? Vi is still on the table. Xin Zhao going to be taken... Oh, beautiful. I was going to say, Xin Zhao going to be on the table, which means that you have to be worried about the Trundle pick, which has been coming up a lot lately, but Dragoons see that coming. They remove that Trundle pick. Meanwhile, TMG Flash say, hey, we're just going to get rid of that Sivir Karma. I honestly think that we're just going to get some sort of enchanter here, right? There's that Vi that I was, I do believe I mentioned a little bit of, but didn't actually ever go into. But in the meantime, Karma, Milio, 2 of the enchanter picks that I anticipated to see coming here. In the meantime, Nami's also off the table, so I think that's pretty much it for the enchanters that we love to see with Sivir. Soraka, honestly, a little bit of an underrated pick. I do like this, but it's a question as to how do you keep people off of the Sivir and the Soraka, because you got a lot of backline diving right now, but do you have ways how to actually disengage?
I got one word for you: Crescent Guard. Crescent Guard them away.
Riven?
I never said I was gonna
blind
English. Oh no! Oh, we did not like. Well, Cassandra's picked. It's not blind. It's Riven top. Mid, surely. We lock in Riven top, Rumble mid into Talia.
All right. Okay. So we saw the Rumble top. We saw the Rumble, and Dragoon said, "All right, that's probably going top. We're going to be taking that Cassante into the Rumble." And we see the Riven, and it's like, "All right, we're just going to take the Talia, whether or not that Riven goes into the mid lane or the top lane. We have champions that can, at the very least, deal with her." But okay, I've said it for years. Riven's not okay. This champion is disgusting. This champion's not okay. I despise her. Romeo, I'm asexual. Anyway,
it's just a cool skin. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't always need to be horny.
Anyway, who cares? This champion is disgustingly strong, right?
So I just seen the final picks. I'm wrong. That Riven's going top.
That Riven's going top.
This is the order.
Yeah. No, that says mid.
Or mid, sorry. It's going mid. That's what I meant. I meant to say mid.
No. I fully anticipated this Riven going into that mid lane because the reason why the Riven is so strong right now is because of those upgraded boots. Riven doesn't really care that much about. Oh my god! Hold on.
Oh my god! A
Who
huge
cares
play
about
going in the
Riven?
bot
Look at
side.
this bot lane.
Oh my god! It's a first blood already. Sivir gonna claim it here. Oh my god! Brutal.
So, Yunara is a very strong champion in the early game. Right, Yunara's level 1, I'd argue, is one of the stronger level 1s as far as AD carries are concerned. You don't really have to focus the Soraka at level 1, right? Focusing Soraka in a 2v2 is very good when the Soraka can heal her carry. Focusing the Soraka where the only ability she has is the one that heals her is a little bit different.
Yeah! Yeah, I can't believe how that played out. I'm at a loss for words.
Okay.
What?
So, Dragoons in a good position. Who is going to, recall, has that call available, and all of a sudden, Sivir gets to aim for that 6-item power spike. The end. Why are you in Twitch chat? Like, I mean, you gotta just play this game.
That is actually a quote from before this series started. That's the best part of that. Is it a content game, or are we actually like? Dragoons has the miracle story. The Daniel Bryan right now of the league. I actually can't. Did Rainy just miss the cannon? Rainy missed the cannon top. I think that's really funny.
Yeah, -1. Either way, so one of the things that we had to look into this team composition. So
Oh wait,
let's
Cassante
break it
then flash
down.
forward. Cassante going to be pushed a little bit back. He has no health here. Wait, there's the knockup. Cassante does it. It's 2-0 for Dragoons.
I thought we were gonna get a chance to sit back and slow things down a little bit, but the Dragoons always pedal to the metal, going straight for it each and every time. Rainy flashes for the kill, and it's not going to turn into anything. In the meantime, this bot lane continuing to build up that lead. The extra coal, just a ticking time bomb in Ubis's account. And we're going to see whether or not this Sivir really does get a chance to scale into the monster that we know this champion can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Sivir, I mean, I think that call purchase is really good. I like that call purchase a lot. I think, especially in the type of lane it is, and on top of also getting that early kill, I think it's going to be a really strong purchase for them. And people have been arguing. I've been hearing an argument go around that call. It's like actually a worthless item. What's your thoughts on this, Anti?
I think it depends. Like, people say things so black and white, but I think it depends. A lot of the times when it comes to a call purchase, right, the reason why it tends to be so detrimental for a lot of champions is because a lot of the times people, when they are picking up call, they are delaying their next big power spike. They're delaying the big item that really allows them to be relevant. And on that note, they also put themselves in a position where they just aren't able to actually farm because they're lacking the extra stats that they would be able to pick up from buying those other items. Sivir's not really like that. Sivir, as I've said before, has a 6-item power spike, right? A very, very strong champ in the right hands, but when you get to those later stages of the game, you're not really looking for a single item to really make your champion that strong. So you don't really care about that singular, extra push, that singular extra item that allows you to be, completely and totally dominating the lane. It's not Draven, right? And it's very difficult to actually deny Sivir farm because she has those ricochets, she has that boomerang blade, and it becomes very difficult to actually remove the ability to gain gold from Ubis. So this gold purchase, very, very strong onto Sivir. I think that other champions can also really make use of it, like Ryze, for example, one of those champions that usually is very much fine getting an early cull. The only issue there is whether or not you can justify the delay on the Rod of Ages. But, you know, a lot of the times these games are decided by the later fights, not by the early ones. But 2 kills early on to a team that once again scales extremely well is very, very spooky.
Yeah, I don't love the position that TMG Flash has found themselves in. I would even argue that, like, once again, TMG's Flash's comp should be winning a bit earlier than Dragoons. I don't think that's crazy to say. You got that Riven mid. I mean, Rumble has some decent scaling. Yunara has some decent scaling. Maokai, I mean, it's just going to be an R button later into the game who just stun locks someone. And then, like, you have the Lulu. But on the other side, Sivir, like you said, 6-item power spike. Soraka is a champion whose healing is monumental, even if you buy a heal cut for her. Xin Zhao is a champion who's really strong early game, but also really strong late game. It's kind of it's more so like a champion that in the mid game, after 2 items, he kind of falls weak a bit, and then he just becomes a very, very powerful tool in team fights. And Talia, the pressure Talia is putting down in mid lane right now, and it's going to be able to put down as this match carries on with that Weaver's Wall, is going to be huge. But right now, Cassante going to be on top of Rainy. Here comes the Twisted Advance. Nature's Grasp going to go up on to the Cassante, and Cassante going to go all out here. Not important, trying to fight his way out of this. A third member coming. Here comes Pumpkin, the Flash, the Equalizer, and ultimately Riven going to be able to send that wave now with boost on the run, the bot side, as well as they're getting shot by Lien on repeat, but they are going to be able to get away on that one. What a series of events.
Yeah, forced to flash out despite the, ultimate discrepancy. But in the meantime, Lien popping that ulti, walking forward.
Oh, Wish used. Lien gonna go down because the Wish keeps them alive. That level 6 spike is just enough.
Yeah, the level 6 spike for Lien, and Lien says, hey, you know what? I have the ability to go in. I'm going to dash forward with my ultimate. It should be fine. And then Shinxel hits 6, hits that Wish, wishes that their team continues to stay in the lead, and it's looking very, very good for them. In the meantime, I've said ticking time bomb is Sivir and this Cole, but another big one is this Riven in the mid lane. Now, I was going to talk about this earlier, Romeo, before we got so rudely interrupted by a solo kill, but okay, who cares about an analysis on the mid lane? We're just going to see more and more fighting. Pumpkin forced out of that lane for just a short moment, but let's get back into things, right? So, Pumpkin on this Riven mid pick. So, Riven is extremely, extremely powerful because of those Gluttonous Greaves. Right, when you have the upgraded Gluttonous Greaves in the mid lane, even more of a menace. Right, this champion, once you can get a hold of the Endless Hunger, the Gluttonous Greaves, the Maw Malmortius, the Death Stance, those items all together turn this champion into an unstoppable monster the moment one of these team fights starts, right? You have so much cooldown reduction, so much healing, so much power available to these teams. And Riven in particular just needs a single kill to become that monster, a single takedown. There's so much of this AoE damage coming in from this team as well. It would be remiss for a Windslash to not take one of them out.
There's going to be the Nature's Grasp going forward. The Polymorph does land, but of course the Spell Shield is going to be the thing that keeps Sivir from being completely controlled there. Dragon, though, looks to be the priority at the moment for Zen and his crew. It is that first Cloud Drake. What soul are you hoping for, Anti?
What soul am I hoping for? Not Chemtech. I'll give it that. Right? Because Chemtech would be... How do I say this? I don't like Riven.
Boring.
I play that champion every now and then. She can already heal so unbelievably much. If we got a Chemtech soul on a mid lane Riven, I don't think this champion would ever die.
All out on the top side, Cassante on top of Rainy. Wish gonna go through, and Rainy is annihilated from the map.
I got no clue what's going on here. I mean, Rainy continually with this Rumble. 2-0. Yes, yes. Well, I mean, flip that one around, and there's your KDA. Rainy not enjoying this top lane right now. Ascendant might have streamer mode on, but certainly going to be covering up their username with an umbrella here, because this champion is doing so much work. This player has done a wonderful job in the 1v1s as far as this series is concerned, right? Whether it be this one or the last one, the solo kills just always going in favor of Dragoons.
Yeah, Dragoons right now, their laning phase is incredible, and you gotta ask yourself, what has happened in these other series? Did a scrim and something click? Because right now, if this is the Dragoons we get, and they find their way into playoffs, I'd put the other teams on notice.
Yeah, I mean, not only... So one thing I will also say, right? It's not just a matter of whether or not these teams are going to be able to... Sorry, let me rephrase. It's not a matter of whether or not you have to watch out for Dragoons alone. TMG Flash going down here does way more for their own purposes rather than just whether or not the Dragoons are ones to watch out for. Because a team's only as strong as when they first falter. Can they bring it back? Can they find a way how to de-tilt, how to put themselves back into a winning position? And then on top of that, you also have to wonder about whether or not these games are going to be useful for teams researching them, for teams that are saying, hey, how is it that I can learn how
Pumpkin
to deal
going
with
to be
this
coming
team?
up here.
Pumpkin.
There's going to be the airborne equalizer going to be popped here as Cassante trying to run away, and the Wish going to turn it around as Cassante able to live forever when it feels like Blade of the Exile going to go forward. There's going to be the all out. Pumpkin trying to find it. The overheat is going forward. Sin trying to get him alive. There's going to be the knockaway. Rainy is able to finish the job just barely looking best. Turn it around. There's still an angle. Pumpkin going to be hovering. It looks like it does so in the favor ultimately of TMG Flash.
Yeah, Pumpkin there going to be so good with that roam here. And let's look at this dive one more time. Not important, just gonna waltz up and take it. But Best Sin finding a way how to survive this a little longer. This should be a turnaround kill. Rainy going to be able to fully take out that Talia. But once again, Dragoons on the back foot as far as the roams go. All right, we're gonna have to see.
The roam's looking very strong here.
Yeah.
That was a crazy top play.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of that top play. Like, Pumpkin's roams into that top lane have been so good, right? You have the Axiom arc finished up, and that is the first of what I expect to see from this ribbon. We have very important items for this sort of mid lane ribbon build. So you have Axiom Arc, you have the Death Dance, you have the Maw Malmortius, and you have the Endless Hunger, right? Those 4 items, I think I genuinely forget what the last one's supposed to be, whether it's supposed to be a Black Cleaver or a Sorelta's Grudge, something along those lines, where it's just a matter of getting more stacks onto your jack of all trades. But the big thing is this champion does so much damage, does so much work, and is constantly going to be a problem in all of these fights.
Yeah, I think finding a way to neutralize the problem is going to be a big challenge for them to overcome at the moment. And I think I'm really curious what we're going to see in the next 45 seconds, because that Ocean Dragon's coming up. Right now, Dragoons are in a bit of an advantage right now. 2,000 gold up. Sivir looking strong. Xin Zhao looking strong. Top lane's kind of evened itself out a little bit. I would still say that there's that little bit of a gap going over to Shadow. Although it looks like Rainy wants to pick a fight with them right now. Equalizer is available on that top side. How important do you think this Ocean Drake is right now?
I mean, honestly, the big thing is that TMG Flash need to find a way how to deny this Ocean Drag, not because the Ocean Drag is important, but because the Dragon stacking is important. It still could be a Chemtech Drag. It still could be a
they're
Mountain
melting.
Drag.
The Witch is going to go through.
Oh,
All
Lord.
out onto the tower. Kasane might have bit off more than he can chew. And it's nighty-night as Rainy finds their 3rd kill of the match.
Yeah, it might be a 3rd kill over to this Rumble, but this is with against a Cassante that has consistently managed to find the win in a lot of these fights. So we're gonna have to see whether this continues on this trend or whether or not, you know, this Cassante is just gonna find a way how to get back into the swing of things. The entirety of Dragoons looking at this bot lane.
Yeah, and they're going to try to look under the tower. Ubis going to take a lot of damage, though, to that Yunara. They've transcended oneself, the greatest ultimate name of all time, to keep themselves alive under that turret.
Yeah, but the Rift Herald going to not important here, and it was an early lead for the side of the Dragoons. I'd venture to say that the later this is going, the more it has been a matter of TMG Flash picking up the pieces, right? They're finding a way how to get back into this game. They're finding a way how to get back into control. Pumpkin's roams have been so good. Forces yet another teleport out from Dragoon's mid laner.
Yeah, the TP has come here. That's going to be a long cooldown, especially when there isn't really any objective up for it. And if you don't find much more than a tower, it's like, fine, I guess. The question is, can they find more? The chase is still on from Zam, but he's not going to be able to find the target there. It's a little rough. Maybe they can find this T2, though. If they find this T2, it would be a bit of a big gold swing into that Sivir. A lot of plates coming out.
I'd argue to venture that this is already a lot of gold into the Sivir. Ugo's actually opting for not going for the Essence Reaver. Instead, it's going to just be the Yuntal's Wild Arrows. So going to be a lot of scaling here, but not a lot of mana.
Oh, there's going to be the percent advantage. Crescent Guard going to be able to keep Zen alive. Wish going to come out, even though Shink still dies. They keep their team alive. Pumpkin going to go down first as the fight rages on. Lien going to get shot down. There's the Equalizer coming out. Ubits trying to get away from Not Important, but Not Important going to be able to claim the shutdown. Best Sin gets knocked out by Rainy, and now Zen's all by themselves. Can't really turn much around. There's going to be the Polymorph. I'm surprised they're not just trying to take the kill. They are. But it's not going to be enough as the gold gets swung and TMG Flash start closing the gap a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so good from TMG Flash. Like I was just saying, Romeo, right? They've been picking up the pieces. They fell behind early on, but they're finding ways how to punish these oversteps. Let's look at this replay one more time. And Ubis just a little bit homeless in this team fight, right? Just able to get 1 auto attack, 2 auto attacks, 3 auto attacks, and just slammed by that Maokai. Rainy came in at just the right time with that equalizer, made sure that there wasn't a chance of that return. It's a question as to how strong the Sivir is going to be when you actually do pick up that second item, which I'm almost certain is that Infinity Edge. Yes, it is. But we're going to see whether or not this Sivir can actually do, is going to actually be allowed to do so much damage, right? Because this Sivir, once again, low range 80 carry. It doesn't really matter if you can get to those 6 item power specs if you can't actually auto attack anyone on the enemy team.
Yeah, if you can't get the auto attacks on, you're never going to win a fight, especially with your 80 carry. But, of course, that spell shield is going to put in a lot of work the later we get into this game. I think Maokai is such a good champion at trying to destroy that and keep them away from that. My thing, though, with Dragoons, it really puts them in a good position right now, though. They have a lot of bot lane pressure. On top of that, Inferno Soul. Minute and 30 away from what could be a Soul Point Dragon. Inferno Soul does so much for that Talia and that Sivir. And on top of that, Soraka, if they're able to survive in these fights a little bit longer, maybe play a little bit further back, they can keep that Sivir alive for days. Like, the Soraka healing is so strong, and they do get the heal cut coming out. We do see an orb coming out onto on Maokai. You have that Chemtech sword coming out onto the Yunara. But heal cut, when it's a Soraka, it's still so minimal, it feels like most of the time.
I mean, it might feel minimal. Like, you hover over that thing, that's bound to be a huge amount of healing reduced there. Ubis taking a lot of damage. You see, that heal would be doing a lot more had it not been cut out. You can already see the difference there. That is Scat Slingshot. That is not the Executioner's Calling. But what I will say is that Ubis is almost certainly, forced to get heal cut on his side at the same time. 656 reduced already. Oblivion Orb also, picked up. It's just a matter of these teams really, really hoping that they can find ways to deny the Soraka healing across the map. But right now, Ubis needs to be picking up this heal cut in return, right? That's the reason why Maokai is so tanky. That's the reason why this Riven's so terrifying. But that is not going to be an Executioner's Calling. That is going to be a Noon Quiver in the inventory, which is going to be either a Lord Dominic's Regards or going to be a Shield Bow, both of which are justifiable. But in the meantime, Fun Phoenix is nowhere to be found.
Taking half their health bar in that fight. The Weaver's Wall is burnt there as Dragon going to be underway. If it can be claimed by Dragoons, they're one step closer to finding themselves a victory in this match. It has been started up. It's looking good. They've already chunked out not important, big time, not important. Going to be down there. Flash till 26. Pumpkin on the side. The TP going to come in from Cassante. Here comes the Nature's Grasp. Ulbiz going to be able to survive it because of the spell shield, but the Equalizer finds so many of them. Wish going to keep them alive. Crescent Guard going to be used, but doesn't knock anyone away. Best Sin, they're stuck in the middle of a big pull. Pumpkin going to find a big knockup, but they go down. Meanwhile, on the side, Rainy is clearing house. Cassante trying to trace Lien, but Lien transcending and just keeping themselves alive the entirety. Go down. It's an ace for TMG, and they're going to be able to find the Dragon. It's huge, and they're going to turn their sights to Baron.
And Romeo, this isn't just a matter of TMG Flash playing that mechanically better. Last game, it was so important that Dragoon get to these team fights first, that Dragoon managed to set up first. This game, it is yet another moment where Dragoons, they walk in there first, they are in a good position. Zed is not on the same page. Look at the separation here. This Shinzao just focused on that Dragon while the rest of his team dies behind him. The flank's so good. This is not a poke composition where you can just leave your team behind. You have to fight together as five, and Dragoons were in a beautiful position the first time, but this time they are not going to be rewarded simply for being there first. You have to play together as five on top of it.
Yeah, and they couldn't find that angle as five. Now they've lost Baron. They've lost Drake. They're 10 minutes off of Soul at least. The gold swing is back in TMG's favor. Now they're starting to find that difficult hill to climb. But like we said, they are a pretty strong scaling team. They just need to start finding their angles in these fights better, or they're not going to be able to close this out. And I'm sorry, if we see them lose this, I'm not confident they come back in a game 3.
Romeo, that is 8 stacks on Pumpkin's Gluttonous Greaves. This is bound to get tough, to say the least. In the meantime, Bestin in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, there's going to be the Twisted Advance going forward. It does find... it's pain right now for Best 13 Sin. Zen, though, going to dive in and be the sacrificial lamb. The hero play is made to keep the Talia alive.
Hero play is made to keep Talia alive, but look at the end of that fight, right? Pumpkin is at full health, right? That ultimate already a quarter of the way back. This champion's just so strong, and Pumpkin, very, very well done to be able to pilot this champion at the ability that he has been able to here. But in the meantime, yet another tower goes down. This Baron push is getting so much gold towards the side of TMG Flash. Already a 3,500 gold lead.
Yeah, the turn off that Dragon fight is insane. If you do the VOD review back, that's going to be the fight. Dragoons look at it and say, this is where we threw our lead. Is this where we threw the series? Anti, what do you want to see come out of Dragoons right now to try and keep this game alive and end it as a 2-0?
I mean, right now, the big thing is you have to understand why it is that you're losing these fights. You have to understand what is going on that's making it as tough as it is. And the big thing is you're getting caught out, right? You're getting deathballed. You have to be grouped up as a team. You have to figure out a way how to actually play around these players. In the meantime, Cassante
might
getting
be
caught
caught
out once
here.
again.
Zen gonna be here to help. Pumpkin gonna lose a lot of their health in the initial engagement, but he knocks up a minion. Zen knocks up a minion. The all-out gonna be used, but now Pumpkin is dominating the fight. There's gonna go Talia. There's gonna go Zen. There's gonna go Sada. Your dreams are dying in front of you. Target champions only, guys. Shinxel goes down. It's a keybind diff. It's a keybind diff.
I mean, I don't think that the keybind changes a single thing, even if Pumpkin was knocked up. That was 4 members strong in that top side, 5 members really. Whereas the side of Dragoons, they just sent, 2, 3 people to try to make sure that they had the ability to turn that one around. In the meantime, Ubis getting chased down in the mid lane, forced to burn on the hunt, and this Sivir just not able to farm up to a meaningful degree.
No, not really at all. Sivir, not at that 6-item power spike you were talking about. Not even at a 3-item power spike. And despite their laning phase, they've fallen behind. Yunara, 11 assists. That's a lot of gold onto Yunara from these fights just going into TMG's favor. Now, we're 8,000 gold different.
Yeah, just half a second ago, it was 3,500 gold, but blink and you miss it, right? It's Dragoons just finding more and more ways to continue this path, but they're not able to do it without losing members in the meantime. TMG Flash showing off why they're so feared, why they're expected to be taking this. This is not going to be an easy match, to say the least. Pumpkin just charging up that passive in the bush, keeping it active. There's the Endless Hunger and the Death Stance I was talking about. Mon Malmortius almost certainly coming up next. But here we go.
Pumpkin on top
all
of Zen.
the way into the back
Gonna
line.
land the knock-up crescent guard, going to keep them under the turret. However, a lot of healing coming out of that shield from Fun Phoenix, and Pumpkin just under the turret. Riven doing Fed Riven things.
He's full health.
Yep. And now I think it's just ceremonial, right? They can just kind of march into the base and call it a game. It'd be very, very hard for Dragoons to keep this alive.
Oh my lord, at this point it's not even a matter of keeping this alive, it's a matter of a question of, is it possible to take out this Riven? There's a reason why I was saying that Ubis was going to be forced to take an Executioner's Calling, a Mortal Reminder, something to reduce the healing on this monster. But Pumpkin just allowed to run through these team fights like nobody's business. There's no healing reduction on the side of the Dragoons whatsoever. This Riven is able to just run across the entirety of the Dragoons, largely not just because of the itemization, but largely because TMG Flash have been grouping up as a team, right? They're deathballing together. They always end up playing unfair, and if you are already ahead, playing unfair just makes it impossible for the Dragoons to stage their comeback.
Yeah, 10,000 gold is on the cusp right now. There's a 700 gold difference away from 10k. Baron gonna spawn. Maybe there's a steal. Maybe that's kind of your dream at this moment. If Zen can get a nice steal, maybe you keep it alive a little longer. Maybe you find some gold back in your pocket. There's a lot of bounties on the table. Maybe you find a pick, but realistically, it's so difficult for them to stay in this. You need a winning fight. And you just don't have the items to do it. You don't have the gold. You got no money, no bitches, nothing on the map for you. It's rough.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Pumpkin not even going to be going for the Maw, understands that he has so much survivability already. Just going to be picking up the Sorelda's Grudge, says, as long as I can get a kill, I can get access to all of that Omnivamp on the Endless Hunger. And this champion just goes crazy with all of this healing. And once again, this healing's continually going unchecked. Not a single source of healing reduction on the side of the Dragoons.
We tried to run the Rumble play. It would have been over 1,000 gold back into our pocket. I'm more of a fan of trying to steal Baron there for the sake that I feel like Baron just ends your game here, no? How do you survive? Do you have the wave
I don't
clear?
necessarily agree. I mean, Baron definitely could end your game, but even if you do manage to steal the Baron, you go 1-for-1. You're playing a 4v5 into a team with a 7-kill Riven at that point, right? And it's not like the rest of TMG Flash are slouching. It'd be impossible to play a 4v5 even with that Baron buff in hand. So right here, the best bet for the side of the Dragoons is just hunkered down with your Sivir. You shove out the waves. You do not get caught out. You do not have the luxuries of walking past your base.
Yeah, if you leave those walls of your base, it's certain doom. It's certain death. You are just trying to wave clear under those Barons down. You got at least another 2 minutes to go. Everything hurts. The dreams hurt. Maybe Riven, or maybe Sivir gets a lot of gold off this, but if Riven finds an angle on any of them, we're going to game 3. Cassante, finally here for the team fight. Finally here for it. He was in that sideline a lot of the time. They never really got that T2. There's going to be the Nature's Grasp. Cassante going to be caught in front of them. That's now a 4v5 anyways. Baron minion smash again. Equalizer. Sin going to go down. There's going to be Zin. There is nowhere for these people to run. Nowhere to hide. And at this point, True-Minded Gaming are going to walk into their base, take their Nexus, and bring us to a game 3.
Yeah, and they're not only are they looking to take the Nexus, they're looking to pad their KDAs, flashing forward underneath the Nexus towers towards that fountain. Ubis just trying to pump out as much damage as possible, but is not going to stop this Nexus take. Pumpkin and Not Important just undeterred here. And the Riven going for yet again all this damage, not going to be answered with anything other than a Nexus explosion. True-Minded Gaming Flash fire back with terrifying efficiency in game number 2, pulling out that Riven, saying there is nothing you can do to counteract this one.
Yeah, nothing you can do indeed, and it's just rough, right? Like they never really had anything they could do once they threw their lead. It was just, after they threw their lead, it was just game over from there slowly and painfully. And it's just like, I really thought Dragoons had it in them. I thought that was going to be it. Dragoons was going to make it, and that was going to be that. Because they had such a lead, and they managed to just throw it away.
I mean, throwing it away is definitely one way to put it. But the Dragoons, right, you know, they thought to themselves, all right, we have an early lead. We're doing very, very nicely. Our Sivir's scaling up. It should be fine. And then TMG Flash fire back with their own scaling monster, right? Pumpkin on this Riven, when enabled by so much of the team fighting prowess of this team, becomes terrifying to deal with. I do not like Riven, right? She is one of those champions that is disgusting when piloted well. If you've ever played against a high elo Riven, you'll understand that this champion in the right hands just feels unplayable against. But you can see right here, Pumpkin showing off exactly why I have such disdain for this champion. He piloted her beautifully, right? Got those Gluttonous Greaves, got those early roams, got all that gold necessary to make this champion play as powerfully as they did. But that means game number 2, this Riven going to be taken off the table. Do TMG Flash have any other surprise, quote unquote, picks ready for us in game number 3, or was that their, playoff bet? Right? We're still relatively early in the season. We're still relatively early in the set, but don't go anywhere because game number 3 is where this week ends.
Oink.
like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy, do 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 crazy crazy, do do like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh do do like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back and we're getting ready for a Game 3. Dragoons took Game 1. True-Minded Gaming Flash took Game 2. And now all the marbles are on the table. Will the underdog story be completed? Or are True-Minded Gaming Flash going to remain undefeated in their series record? What do you think, Anti?
Now, honestly, after that last game, it's terrifying, right? True-Minded Gaming Flash definitely have some picks under their sleeves that really show off why they're a team to be feared, right? They're one of those teams where you sit there and you think to yourself, what can I do about this? What is it that I need to worry about? Fearless Draft is wonderful. Allows you to take champions like that Riven off the table. Allows you to take that Maokai off the table. I mean, so many of these champions did so much work in those fights were turned into relatively unsung heroes, right? Yunara Lulu already taken off the table, but in the meantime, we're still never ever going to be seeing a Shinxol Nami because these teams are worried about that Nami for a reason. Right, Shinxol in that first game on the Seraphine got some extremely powerful encores, but we're not really seeing that same enchanter play from them in game number 2. You did at least get to see that early, 2v2 prowess in that bot lane, but you didn't really see that turn into much. Saber, one of those champions that spikes very, very late. The Cull, definitely one of those things that people might attribute it to, but as far as I'm concerned, Cull really didn't really change a thing. It's just a matter of all of those Riven ganks. That is a Skarner.
That is a Skarner.
That's a Skarner blind.
Do we not like blind Skarner? I think it's a flax, no? Jungle or top?
Okay, the thing about the Skarner early on when it comes to a jungler top is that you don't really care so much about how do I say this?
Go ahead.
Trundle is still on the table. You are totally fine just taking the Trundle, knowing full well, all right, well, if they pick something, there's not really a hard Trundle counter per se, so you're still able to do that. There's not so much to worry about. Now, Milio, on the other hand, one of those picks that you actually do have to worry about if you are picking the Varus. Milio just absolutely makes Varus's life a living hell if you go with the on-hit build, because now you have to play against a carry that outranges you the entire time. If you go the lethality build, now you have to play against a carry who will never ever be stunned by your ultimate. And Blitzcrank, on the other hand, very, very good into champions like that Milio, like that Jinx, immobile champions that don't really have a way to deny that hook. In the meantime, Malphite going to be taken off the table. Sylas was already taken off the table long ago. So, the Malphite, the Shyvana, these champions that really, really don't want to deal with the Sylas are things that you are going to be looking at. But they know that this Skarner is almost certainly going to be going into the jungle, because if you force it into the top lane at this point, you have last pick on the side of TMG Flash. You can just save that top lane pick to the very end, and you can guarantee the counter pick in both jungle and top.
I mean, Trundle's already, if Skarner goes top, Trundle goes top. If Skarner goes jungle, Trundle goes jungle. Unless Dragoons do something silly and they pick, sorry. So they are just flexing Mbessa Trundle and saying, whichever matchup you take top, we're taking, and then we're going to counterpick mid. Kale?
Yeah. Okay, all right. So Kale almost certainly going to be going into that top lane, trying to make use of that extra experience gain. The Zig's going to be going into that mid lane. Okay, I don't really know how to feel about this. I do know that Trundle rarely has good ganks, right? Trundle is phenomenal at counter ganking. Trundle as a champion doesn't really have very strong standard ganks into most of the solo laners nowadays, because most of these solo laners have dashes, have ways out. Kale is not one of those solo laners, right? She has a minor speed buff, a minor slow. I don't think that the Kale is something that I would have expected to see into the Ambessa. I almost certainly anticipated something much more beefy. But in the meantime, the Ziggs also going to be taking up blind, a very strong team composition when you get to set up, but TMG Flash have a team composition entirely built on breaking up that front-to-back team fight.
Yeah. Like, the other thing, too, is Dragoons has no early game. They have nothing. Their map is destroyed for the first 25 minutes, 30 minutes of this game. What do you do? What do you do? Diana's going to be running mid lane. Varus and Blitz, Lord knows, are going to be running bot lane. And Bessa's going to dominate Kayle early. And Skarner doesn't get to play the jungle because, in theory, when you have 3 pushing lanes and a Trundle in your jungle, what does Skarner do besides get bonked in the face, chomped in the mouth, and lose all of his camps? You don't have a game. You are literally just praying that all of them unplug their keyboards for the first 25, 30 minutes of the game, and then you can say, oh, we scaled. We can win now. I hate this draft. It's dog shit. It is they've thrown the comeback. They've thrown the underdog story to pick 5 scaling champions. Or sorry, 3 scalers and a tank. God forbid.
So what I will say, right, is that this is one of those team compositions that you do have to be worried about regardless of what stage of the game it's in, right? So TMG Flash, they always have a way how to break up that front to back. They always have a way how to make sure that they don't have a standard team fight composition. In the meantime, the Dragoons have themselves a team composition that wants to front to back, that wants to play it safe. But what they do have at the very least going for them is they have a Jinx, they have a Ziggs. If they win a team fight in the late game, they have a fountain laser of a champion and they have a tower laser of a champion, right? This Ziggs will eat through these towers. This Jinx will eat up all of those minions. Just make sure to make use of that get excited passive. One team fight win in the late game could spell disaster for TMG Flash. You go straight from tier 2 straight to Nexus, but we're gonna have to see whether or not they can actually get to those points. My money, honestly, is on TMG Flash here. They have a wonderful team composition with winning lanes in virtually all 3 of these lanes, including the jungle counter pick. But more importantly, they have a way to deny the win conditions from Dragoons, which is get set up and get ready.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I say that TMG Flash wins, and it's because they've drafted a comp that can actually play the game. Like, I don't even know how to break it down. Look, Blitz, Flash, Hook, First Blood. First Blood. No? Shinxel lives? I mean, they do burn Flash as well, but, you know, Blitz has Hex Flash. And that play right there is going to spell the rest of this game. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a million Blitz hooks. They're going to cry themselves to sleep because on top of already not having a team that can play the early game, you're playing into a Blitzcrank, a champion notorious for just destroying early games of champions because you step 1 pixel out of line, Flash Hook, you're done, you cry, and we're already watching. Look, all 3 lanes are getting pushed in right now, and Trundle's already invading. That's going to be the story of this game. Dragoons literally is praying that they make enough mistakes that they get to like 30 minutes in the game.
Yeah, but at level 1, you can see that it's actually so much power coming in from Ubis and Shinxel. They're just able to continually push down this lane. Kayle, also very, very strong level 1, right? We're saying that Kayle versus Ambessa is one that does tend to be Ambessa favored, as long as you can get the Trundle into the right position here. But we're seeing right now why the Kayle was picked into the Ambessa. We can see right now why you have to be worried pre-6. And oh my god, Best Sin almost managing to take out Pumpkin early on. Now, I actually really am a huge proponent for Diana mid. I love this one a lot. Zen, unfortunately, not going to be able to scout out the vertical jungle here, but we're looking in bot lane.
There's a big engage.
No flash on
Shinxel
Shinxel.
Gonna go down. It's gonna be a first blood over. Making a 2 blood. Not important. Gonna find a kill as well and get out alive. Youch kabibbles. And that, I mean, again, that's going to be the story of the game. You've already drawn 2 bloods, 2 minutes into the game. You got your invade off. Skarner's now on a counter invade, so at least I guess Skarner kind of gets to play the game. Kind of, a little bit. He's about to run into Trundle, though, and I'm very curious what's going to happen when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to see what it does turn into here. It's actually going to be the smite fully committed from Zen here. Not important, going to be walking forward, but once again, Pumpkin and Beston just going to go at it again and again. Not going to turn into much more than a fight over the scuttle.
Rainy burns Flash and gets ignited. Is able to survive that one just barely. Meanwhile, on the river, Zen going to be forced to come into Flash to get away from the Blitz hook here. Just do me a favor. Just look at the summoner spells real quick on Dragoons. It hurts. I mean, to be fair, it's a little bit even, but you're down every Flash but Ziggs right now. And again, you're into a team that excels at punishing. I feel like I'm about to watch some BDSM. That's how bad this is going to get in my brain.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to have to see what it turns into because as we've seen time and time again, right, the Dragoons are a team that has managed to surprise us, right? We're seeing this Trundle just continue on this vertical jungling, and I honestly don't know if you're going to be able to just get away with this. Beston just
Diana's here, though.
Up.
Beston gonna get caught. Zen gonna be there. Not important. Maybe a little bit too deep. Are they gonna be able to get away? They do. They do. They commit the flash and they walk on out of there back to their jungle because Trundle does Trundle things. You think Mundo goes where he pleases? Nah. Trundle, the Troll King, goes where he pleases. Meanwhile, on the top side, Rainy has chunked Kale to 1 HP, and that should mean that not important. Free invade. Oh,
yeah.
Under the turret, Rainy gonna find Kale, and it's a 1-for-1. I actually think that's good for Kale. They do lose a wave though, so maybe it's not actually.
Yeah, I would venture to say.
In mid, Zig's gonna be able to find the kill on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Beston has been honestly playing this mid lane so well. I am a huge proponent for Diana mid, and even larger than that, I love the Storm Raider Surge on Diana mid. But you gotta, I gotta say, right? It is so much more difficult to play into a Ziggs that knows what they're doing when it comes to this Diana mid. As we see right now, Pumpkin just dashes on forward, gets knocked back into the wave here, and Beston just gonna continue with all of these Qs, just gonna continue the fire off again and again, and that is a whiff of that E. It's not onto a minion that actually had Moonlight available, so Pumpkin not going to be able to dash back away from all of that excess damage here. Now, this Diana will be a problem later stages of the game, but early on, you just don't do nearly enough damage to proc the Storm Raider Surge every single time you dash in.
And we also did, during that replay, miss another kill in the bot lane. You can watch as they step up. Fun Phoenix in the bush. Flash, knock up, and Lien was able to find a kill immediately in that bot lane. Now another play happening. Mid lane, Fun Phoenix is there. The exhaust gonna go off. Ziggs able to bounce on the tower. The hook, the Moonlight, and now it's a dead Ziggs. Everything coming up true-minded.
Yeah, and true-minded gaming Flash showing off the power of this team composition. We knew it was going to be strong. We knew it was going to be powerful. But what we know for certain right now is that it is looking tough for the Dragoons. Already almost 3,000 gold down, 2,500 gold at best, right? In the meantime, not important, looking to get even more of these steals going through, and the smite to secure it. Poor Zen.
I mean, you lock in Skarner first, and then your team decides to draft you. No winning lanes. No winning lanes. What do you do? What are you to do into no winning lanes? It feels like TMG said, we want to go watch MSI. We're going to draft a comp that's going to win in 20 minutes. And Dragoon said, I hope they overstep because they want to go watch MSI. So let's just pray to God this game goes 50 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely very difficult to say who has the upper hand for now, right? TMG Flash,
TMG
they
does.
have a real...
There's
Okay.
gonna be
TMG Flash have a wonderful team
gonna
composition
be
here.
the chain of corruption, and Lien gonna find another kill onto that Varus.
Yeah, like the thing is, like TMG Flash, right? As far as the composition is concerned, have a lot of strengths, but they also have a lot of things that could go wrong for them.
There's
If
the
a
hook,
single one of-
there's the line, there's the single. Ubi's goes to the gray screen. Ubi's now has no money. Say it with me. No money, no bitches, no life, and in 15 more minutes, no Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, these guys just
They're in their
hate
jungle.
analysis. Like, straight up.
Mega Inferno Bomb does land. They do turn back one kill, but it's going to be another dead. They are in. They're behind the 2-2 tower. Bullying. This is cyberbullying. This is a crime in most countries.
Hold on, Best Sin right now looking for a way in, not gonna be able to do it because of that pillar. And it's just a matter of picking up the pieces here, trying to get as much gold back as possible. But Dragoons continuing to try to scale up, continuing to try to put themselves in a good enough position. Rainy just at the very least happy about his position into this Kale. But here comes Fun Phoenix. I gotta say, Fun Phoenix is the absolute
Goat.
enemy of analysis, right? Every single time I open my mouth, he just walks up and says, yeah, no. We don't want to listen right now. We're just gonna see more and more action.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what they need to be doing, though, right? Again, like, you're right. Dragoons aren't drawing dead if this game goes another 20 minutes. If it goes another 20 minutes, they win. They went hook, line, single. This guy doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. Bro's got more three-pointers than Steph Curry. As Pumpkin gets hooked under, like, he just gets kidnapped under the turret and walks out. I mean, expends a flash, of course. But true-minded gaming, that's what they're known for, right? Flashing. And they might as well. We might as well. I mean, the only thing I'm shocked about, they hate objectives. They're allergic to taking objectives. I want to see Dragon and Void Grubs on, like, taken immediately. They need the Void Grubs for sure. They need to end this game ASAP.
Yeah, they definitely need to end this as quickly as possible. And most importantly, they need to deny these Void Grubs from the Ziggs, from the Jinx, from the Kale. All of these champions, unbelievably
Chains
terrifying.
of corruption. And Skarner going to hook him into the traps. Very nice play by Skarner. Mega Inferno Bomb going to miss because Lien's able to flash forward. But he only gets the 1-for-1 trade. That is a shutdown going over to Skarner. However, Jinx continues to have no money. No bitches.
And
no life.
money. No money on this Jinx. Still sitting on that Cull. Still trying to build up to a path of relevance. In the meantime, we're seeing Zen right now just go toe-to-toe with
Tower
this
gone,
Diana.
10
Not going to be able
minutes
to do all that much, though.
Good night. We're just going to take the moon from the sky and slam it into your skull. And now Zen praying to get away. Zen screaming. Zen's like, please let me go. I want to leave. I want to leave, please. And now they're trying to turn it, but Blitz is there. They're just going to walk away. Tower gone, though. First tower gone, 10 minutes into the game. 5K gold gap, 10 minutes into the game. Thank God we draft 5 scaling champions. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking bad now, but the force back onto Pumpkin means that this dragon is going to have quite a bit of strength from Dragoons here. So Dragoons right now, first to the dragon. Shinxel going to be the one who is late, but there is no hook available from Fun Phoenix as a guaranteed Mountain Drake to start. If there is a way back into the game for Dragoons, it is scaling, and Mountain Drag slows the pace of the game down exponentially, right? 5% extra magic and resist and armor means that this team actually has a chance to play against this gold lead. But in the meantime, Bestin continuing to farm up. Kale continuing to farm up. Ubis doing his best.
Yeah, I mean,
there's really not much that I can say about this Jinx right now because every single time that I start talking, Fun Phoenix just tries to shut me up. And it's been working a lot of the time.
And the thing is, like, I can't even blame one of the individual players here. Like, it's not Ubis' fault, really. He's 0-4. He has a Trundle in his lane. He has a Diana in his lane. He has a Varus in his lane. He has a Blitzcrank in his lane. And he's playing a basically 4v1 because what is Milio going to do into all that CC? The Cozy Campfire ain't going to do nothing. As Fun Phoenix is high, knock up, Trundle says high, Pillar's wrong. Let's... that that Ziggs just got away with gold. The impale to the wall. Mega Inferno Bomb. Not important. The subjugate, too strong, though. I mean, what do you do in the subjugate, right? Like, I mean, this guy just gets to subjugate and walk away. Kale comes and says, hey, I want a piece of this. Actually, I'm just going to get sandwich. Youch, you're not level 16 yet, but they do get the Trundle. That's another shutdown to Skarner. Literally, there are 2 champions on your team you don't want gold on. It's Skarner and Milio. And Skarner, Zen playing like a champ. Chat said it. Chat said Skarner is a Zen champion. He's proven it. However, all the shutdowns are on Skarner. Skarner has what? 5,000 gold? 5,000. That's really good. It's on Skarner.
Honestly, I see where you're going here, but what I will also say, right, is that Skarner having this much gold is what allows this team to actually stand on, on business, right? If you have a frontliner, if you have someone who can actually take a little bit of damage walking up, at the very least, you get to survive a little bit, right? The biggest problem here is that there's just no way to survive.
So, speaking of surviving a little bit, here comes Fun Phoenix too. Meanwhile, on the bot side, they're making 2 plays, one on each side of the map, and it's working. Here comes Fun Phoenix saying, hey,
what is wrong with you?
I'm coming for you. Get over here. Come on, hook him. Hook him. Oh, hello. Non-importance, loving arms. Bonk, 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 bonk. Kale dies. It's another death. It's another death. Let's see. In total, we've died 12 times in the first 13 minutes of this game. It's almost a kill per minute. They're making good.
Almost. Not quite there.
Give it another team fight. Oh, Zen's kidnapped. Zen has kidnapped the Diana, but Diana says, hi, I'm 3-1. I have Lichbane. I have Sorks. Come at me, I dare you. Meanwhile, mid lane, we're going to take our second tower of the match, 14 minutes into the game. We're really close to it. Yummy
one
turret.
thing I will also say, Romeo, is that Skarner having this much gold, Skarner having this much tankiness, might be the one thing that Dragoons have keeping them in this game. If you're drafting a 1-tank composition into a Trundle, you are drafting a no-tank composition.
Yeah.
Right? It is so unbelievably difficult the later the game goes. It's just a matter of finding ways how to stall things out, finding ways how to get to the point where you can play the game, right? Kale right now not quite able to finish his first item.
Public execution is available. Yep, bye Kale. Oh, it misses! The sidestep is good. It doesn't matter, though. Rainy, high, yoink. Oh, we forced the flash. And Skarner is here. Milio is here. Can they turn it? Skarner going to come. Skarner going to yoink, yoink, bang against the wall. He is. It's like I'm watching book talk right now. As Rainy does go in. He does find the 1 for 3. Rainy going to claim a kill. And now here comes the cavalry. Super Mega Death Rockets comes. It doesn't land. Skarner is here. And guess what? Skarner is dead. Sinxel gonna go down as well. They really were just warming up, and now they're cooling down.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a matter of trying to find a way how to secure that kill. Try to find a way how to keep their Kale in the game. Try to find a way how to stay mildly relevant. But, Kale walks up a tiny bit too far. Just
hey, Sin, you can't be there. Sin, you can't be
mind.
there. Goodbye. That was my sound effects for Zig's death.
Oh, Lord.
They've made 3 turrets in 15 minutes. It's a turret every 5 minutes, and they just got Herald. We're going to make MSI, guys. We're going to make MSI.
Oh, God. At this point, this is like one of those moments where you just sit there, you understand that your opponent has a pizza in the oven, and you say, the only way I can win this is by stalling it out. So that way they have to leave to go get that pizza. But this pizza in particular is MSI. TMG Flash need to finish this game as quickly as possible before that pizza starts burning, before that Kale comes online, before that Jinx becomes mildly relevant, before this Kale
speaking of Kale,
crashes out.
Yeah, okay. So Kale currently face checking the... Nope, there's no hold on. Hold on to what? The ground, the floor, the grave of Kale. Look, Rainy is taunting Zen. He says, hi, what are you going to do about it? We are 7k gold up in 16 minutes. This is a harder stomp than I see in solo queue. I am watching, like, it feels like I'm watching Noxus invade, like, Zon right now. What, like...
Zon?
Yeah. What, was that a bad comparison? Do we think Zon could stand a chance against all of Noxus?
I don't know. I didn't watch Arcane.
Public execution.
Anyway.
Bang. Hi, Ubis. Ubis getting a free hit. Ubis getting a free hit. Ubis got a kill. Never mind. It's winnable. It's winnable.
Ubis just popped Cole. It's winnable, Romeo. But right now, it's a matter of whether or not you can survive. More turrets going down, more champions going down, more gold going into the pockets of not their carries. But in the meantime, there's one more Cole available for the side of the Dragoons. And this Kale still trying to pick up as much gold, as much experience as possible. Not important. Almost going down, but
Mega
look
Inferno
at
Bomb.
how much
Shut
damage
down
is
for
coming
Jinx.
through.
Shut down for Jinx. It's a Super Mega Death Rocket. Shut down. Jinx is getting gold, ladies and gentlemen. They're excited. Get on Lien. Get on Lien. Get on Lien. Ubis, get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Yeah.
Start preparing the apology forms. The Dragoons finding ways to make us believe in a possible comeback. Right now, we might be seeing Fun Phoenix just channeling it over. Shinxel has no mana.
Pumpkin gonna be on top of Shinxel. They do get the kill. Kale. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It's
not
like watching
gonna
a
be able to
puppy get
away.
bored and die in front of you in a matter of 60 seconds.
I don't want to think about that.
Oh, man. Here's the thing. I want Dragoons to win. Like, I've been rooting for Dragoons secretly. Oh, well, I don't even really think it's been a secret. Like, everyone's been rooting for the underdogs all series. They're the underdogs. We want them to win. We want our Sami Zayn moment. You know what I mean? And what we are getting is the Golden State Warriors beating the hell out of, like, what? Name a bad basketball team.
The Angel.
Yes, it's the Golden State Warriors beating the Hell's Angels.
The Hell's Angels? Hold on.
Is there actually
This went in a different direction than I was anticipating. Huh?
Is there actually a basketball team called the Angels that I just don't know about?
No, I'm talking about the Anaheim Angels.
Oh. I don't know the Ducks. Speaking of Ducks, Super Mega Inferno Bomb turns Varus into a sitting duck. As, you know what? That Jinx is 4 kills. We are still down 8,000 gold. But Ubis has 4 kills.
Ubis has 4 kills, has 2.5 items, just slowly building up into a relevant champion.
Yoink.
But we're seeing Zen go for yet another fight.
Subjugate has been used. Zen getting cut down immediately. There's the pull. Good night to Zen. Pumpkin in the back line saying, hello. Hi, I'm Diana. I'm just going to jump on all your carries. Ubis, you have 4 kills, but you're all alone. And that's a quadra kill. Diana now has, what, 11? This is just end, right? This is just over?
This is the game.
Yep.
Oh, this is 100% the game.
To MSI we go, as we sail, as we sail. It's to MSI we go, as we sail. Yeah, GG, TMG, find it. They stay on top of the table. The comeback is dead. The comeback is dead. The tunnel is in the eyes. The dreams of all the boys and girls around North America is dead as True-Minded Gaming Flash pick up a victory in a brutal fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, True-Minded Gaming, they won this in draft. We all knew they won it in draft. And then they showed you how to execute. I mean, the execution was flawless. Like, don't get me wrong. True-Minded Gaming played it brilliantly. But at the end of the day, this is one of those games where you either win in 30 or you lose the game, and they won in 20. Brilliant dismantling. It was like watching challengers beat up an iron. And it's so sad because Dragoons twice came close to bringing down. Dragoons were so close. I believe in Dragoons. I want this team to make playoffs. Because if they make playoffs, I actually think they stand a chance. In a best of 5, I think they stand a chance. They threw in game 2 a little bit. They had the gold, and they took a couple bad team fights. Game 3, they threw in draft. And it hurts to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a difficult thing to see there. But the thing is, Dragoons, they did take that first game. They had those flashes of brilliance. They just weren't quite able to capture those and turn them into a full fire. They weren't able to take down TMG Flash, but they were able to, at least for a moment, make us believe. In the end, that is going to be a 2-1 victory for TMG Flash, a more hard-fought victory than I think anyone had anticipated. And there it is for week number 3 of Titan Esports. Goodbye, everyone, for now. Thank you so much to Romeo for casting with me and being on the production. Thank you so much as well to Darth Laser on the observing. Just once again, thank you so much to everyone who sat down to watch. And make sure to catch the rest of the Titan Esports broadcast throughout the week, starting up again tomorrow.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. That was Anti being the absolute GOAT on the cast as well. Shout out to Anti for always being the GOAT on Sundays. And now we are out. See you guys at MSI.